moving on from Central back to the NFL, back to the professional.
Oh, goodness.
Pro Bowl predictions. We did our offenses last
yeah.
week. So we will go over, like I said, we're doing 2 linemen, 2 linebackers, 2 corners, 2 safeties. I personally feel like mine is really boring, but I think it's going to be right.
I'm going to say there's a good chance that what you qualify as a pass rusher might be different because there's a couple players that like kind of are a linebacker, but are like more of a pass rusher. So
like Micah Parsons.
I was going to say that I did my best.
He's a linebacker to me.
So for me, I did defensive end for Micah Parsons, but that's where it's kind of hard. So
that's fair
because every scheme's different.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Well, we'll just kind of go through it, and it kind of makes sense,
Yeah. Just so everyone that thinks that I'm an idiot, well, I'll probably just fill that more out.
Talking about the NBA.
Yeah, don't talk to me about the NBA.
Let's start with the AFC. Let's kind of flip it up. Last week, I think we did.
Let's go for it.
The NFC. So AFC linemen.
This has got to be.
It's got to be pretty easy.
We got to be the same.
Garrett and Crosby.
So I had Myles Garrett, but
Myles Garrett is the best defensive lineman.
I had TJ Watt. So that's where I'm different.
So again, I have TJ as a linebacker because they technically play like a.
I know that's what I'm saying.
It's like they play a 3-4, and he kind of is that outside.
Oh,
edge guy.
I would think he's a linebacker, but the way I did it was pass rusher. In my head was pass rusher. So
I did Max Crosby because I think Max Crosby and Garrett are the best.
Myles Garrett for sure. But
I think I think if Myles Garrett is probably the best defensive lineman now in the league since Donald's gone. But it's close. Like you have some other players we'll probably mention in the NFC that are very good. Obviously, Max Crosby is a star as well. TJ Watt, I agree with you. I'm totally fine with that. He does technically play on the line, but he's technically listed as a linebacker.
Yeah, that's where I knew it was going to be like little interesting.
So that's fair. So you had who?
So I had Myles Garrett
and TJ Watt. Okay. Yeah. And then your linebackers.
So the first one's got to be the same. Roquan Smith.
So I don't have him.
So that's surprising.
He's going to probably be there, but I change it up because I had TJ Watt.
Okay, that's...
And then the one that people are probably going to forget is Danielle Hunter is now on Houston from
I remember
Minnesota. That. So I put him thinking I think Roquan Smith is he's a superstar, but I was like kind of boring. We know he's going to be there. So I was like, I'm going to throw someone else, and I thought he had a really good year last year. Pro Bowler last year. Why wouldn't he be a Pro Bowler on technically a better team now? I can see it. But then I also put TJ Watt because that's kind of where I listed TJ Watt. But I think that's fair. And who was your other one?
My second one's Patrick Queen. So he was from the Ravens. He signed a big deal with the Steelers.
Now.
What I'm kind of thinking is he was playing with Roquan Smith. He's kind of overshadowed a little bit. So I'm like, maybe if he gets his own opportunity, we'll see. I mean, he's still obviously very successful.
Yeah, he's super talented.
We'll see if it will work or if maybe it was Roquan Smith that made him look good.
100%. Yeah, I think that's fair. He gets his test, and obviously, you still have the shadow of TJ Watt being technically the best defender on. Well, maybe the third best defender on your team.
There's another guy on there.
There's another guy on Pittsburgh. There's another guy on Pittsburgh that's going to be on my list.
He's on mine too. So
yeah, Pittsburgh and the Ravens definitely always seem to go back and forth with best defense in the league, or they have a lot of really big names. But
for sure,
cornerbacks, I don't have any Steeler or Raven, which could be shocking.
So it's.
Who's your first?
It's got to be Sauce Gardner.
It has to be Sauce Gardner.
He's the best cornerback.
He's the best cornerback in the league right now. He's so good on the Jets. Second one.
So mine's Jalen Ramsey.
I was flipping back and forth between him.
I was having a tough time, but I was like,
so good. And
he had a struggle last year, but it was a new team, new system, and he wasn't used how he's been used in the past.
Yep.
I was kind of reading into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know quite how the
he didn't seem like he was covering the best way. He was kind of doing like a Richard Sherman where he was just like, you're on this side now.
I think what I read is he only covered the left side.
Yeah.
And
so
then
he was doing a Richard Sherman.
Yeah. So in years past, he had covered like
the
number
best wide
one
receiver.
and just moved all around.
Yep.
So
and now he's just locked in.
Now that's what they're kind of changing it back to. So I was like,
oh, so now he's going back to I don't know. I like the idea, especially when to me
or he's going back to covering the best receiver.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, I thought the Seahawks did a really good job with like doing that with having corners. Like Richard Sherman literally was able to shut down one side of the field because he just knew how to read that side of the field.
Yeah.
Obviously, he was really good, but I also think, in my opinion, that doesn't make him the best corner in the league. Because I think you had like Darrelle Revis at the time.
Yeah.
Shutting down Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, like you named the guys, shutting them down. Like and these were the best wide receivers in the game. Where Richard Sherman was very good, but he never really got.
I see what you're saying.
He never. I don't want to say he didn't get tested, but he never got tested to the point where it wasn't like
every single.
Yeah, Larry Fitzgerald you're guarding the greatest wide receiver that division might has ever seen. In the past decade.
Yeah, he's not on the top 100.
Yeah, you're not guarding him.
Remember that?
That is crazy. But so he's not covering Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua every play. So I always said, like, yes, Richard Sherman is a fabulous defender. He was able to literally take this half of the field and it was eliminated.
Shut it down. Yeah.
But he also wasn't proving to me that he can guard the best wide receiver every time. So I thought that was interesting.
It's a fair point.
So that's kind of where I flipped it, when I saw last year with his change. So I went with Pat Surtain the second.
Oh, Surtain, yeah. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah. But I'm pretty certain that's how you say it.
Got him. What a guy. I'm going to edit that out just because.
No. You can't edit that out. That's where you have to like add some like funny emojis or whatever. That's where I looked at it because I was like, Jalen Ramsey is still it's incredible how the longevity. Because usually corners are like good for like 5, 6
he was
years
like
and then done.
2017, I think his first round pick with the Jags, and then was really good when they went to the playoffs.
Yeah. He's
getting
got traded
to the Rams, and now is like on his like 3rd or 4th team or something.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, and that's where I was like, I don't disrespect it, but I also look at Pat Surtain and I was like, dude, this guy's chasing around the best wide receiver in the field and he's shutting him down. So I went with them. But yeah, Sauce Gardner, unreal. The safeties, I feel like we're gonna have the same people. I feel like it might be easier.
I feel like it
has to be Fitzpatrick and Hamilton.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
There's no really like.
There are other.
They're good ones, but
there are other people out there.
These guys are very.
But
good.
These guys are like they're just the best.
I think the NFC is gonna change a lot. I don't think we're gonna have the same at all.
I would agree with you actually on that
because I had some couple fun picks and like some interesting ones.
Okay, so then you start us off with the defense. I feel like the defensive line has to be the same.
So this is where I don't think it will be.
No way.
We'll see. I don't know.
Give me one.
We'll find out. Aiden Hutchinson.
Okay, yeah, I have him.
Okay, you did. Okay,
yeah, of course.
Surprised.
He's so good.
Yeah,
he's Detroit's possibly best player.
But he's still compared to those other players that did better than last year on the line. But I was like, I think
Aiden Hutchinson is going to be a Pro Bowler no matter what this year.
I think he's going to be freaking good.
I think he might come out as like the best NFC defensive.
I hope so.
Player.
That's kind of what I was hoping when I picked him.
Okay, who's your other one?
Well, then I had Micah Parsons, but like I said, kind of an interesting.
I had Bosa.
So
but to me, even if I think Bosa is better than Parsons. Like, if you were to tell me they're both the same position,
close, yeah.
I agree it's close, but I think and Bosa has more injury problems, and I agree. But when Bosa is healthy,
he is really,
dude's a freak.
Really
and that's nothing. That's literally 1A, 1B, or whatever you want to call it. BA, BB, or whatever. I don't know what you call it. 2B, 2A, I don't know, whatever. Micah Parsons, but I also have Micah Parsons as a linebacker.
Yeah.
So I have him on the list a little bit further down. But I agree. But I think Bosa still has to be on it. I honestly that was a toss-up for me with his brother.
Yeah, I thought about Joey too.
And I was like, Joey Bosa is a monster as well. Linebackers, you knew one of mine.
So the first one, gotta say that. Then your second one's got to be Fred Warner.
It is Fred Warner.
That's my first. So yeah.
Fred Warner is unbelievable.
He makes
everyone
the 49ers so good.
I agree.
And then is it Greenlaw? Their second
49ers?
linebacker, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I really liked him last year. It was so sad in the Super Bowl when he like went out to go literally just start playing and then he like tore his UCL or ACL or something. I was so sad.
Yeah.
Because he has a cool story. I think he was adopted, if I'm thinking correctly, and like was able to overcome all that and still make it to the NFL. And like,
I think you're right.
It's a cool story. I don't know it fully, but if you ever have time, definitely look it up.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the other one I was thinking of, I just kind of popped me out, so I was kind of doing some stuff. It was Simmons was the other safety.
Oh, Justin Simmons
from Denver.
I think did he sign somewhere? I think he might be with the Eagles.
Did he leave?
It's either him or.
Let's see if I can find him. I just had him up.
No, he's on the. That's who it is. He's on the Falcons.
Oh, so he
signed with the Falcons. That's what it was.
So I didn't know that, but I was thinking about like okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my second linebacker is Levante David
from
the Buccaneers.
He
is older, but the dude is an animal.
He's like Bobby Wagner in some aspects where it's like he just doesn't fall off.
He's just good every year.
I agree. I don't think there's anything wrong with that position at all. I think you have. Why is that not doing that? You have for like linebackers. Yeah, you still have got like I'm just kind of going through like last year's too. You have obviously Darrell Hunter who left. You know that changes it. You have Harrison Reddick. Or Hannison Reddick from the Eagles. He was very good.
Yeah. He got it was Hassan Reddick. He got traded to the Jets.
That's what it is.
He got traded to the Jets, and then something weird just happened.
I can't keep up with all this stuff. All Obviously, you still got Bobby Wagner out there. He's kind of that same way as you're saying with
Lavonte David.
And then you have Demario Davis still there from
the Saints.
Yeah. He's obviously very, very good as well. And then your corners. I think this is where we're going to have some issues. Just corners and safeties are going to be different.
Okay. So the first one I picked Devin Witherspoon.
Me too.
Okay. I think he obviously was kind of hurt. He had a good year, but just not quite.
He had a really good
potential.
rookie year. Fell down a little bit. I think he comes back with a defensive
where I'm like,
coach.
I think exactly. That's why I picked him. I was like, I think he has very good skill set. He's going to have a defense that's going to work for him, and he's going to have a little bit more experience. He's not going to be straight out of college. He's going to all his injury stuff that he started the year with. He's not going to have to worry about that. So I was like,
I agree. I think he'll come off to a faster start.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I'm with it.
Second one, I think this is how you say it. I think it's Jaire Alexander
from
the Packers.
I'm not against it. He's good. He's super solid. He had a good last year. I went with DaRon Bland from the Cowboys. Still.
He was unreal for interceptions. I think he set the record for most pick sixes in a season.
I feel like and I feel like he just, even if he doesn't get near that record, it's like he
was very solid.
He can just read a play, it seems like, better than most. Last year, then because they also have what's his head on the other side.
The Diggs.
Yeah. He had 9 interceptions.
Diggs?
Yeah, I think so. Trevon Diggs. It sounds right. He had 9 interceptions and 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So it's like
that's Stephon Diggs' brother.
DaRon Bland?
No. Diggs.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. I believe you. I have no idea.
And also, if you didn't pick this next safety, you're wild. Just so you know.
And then what do you have?
No, you're going. You can go for it.
Well, my first one, I went with the 2 that were Pro Bowlers last year.
Okay, I don't remember.
Budda Baker.
Okay.
And I think, and this could be a hot topic because he's from Seattle, I think Julian Love is going to be unreal as a full-time starter this year.
It's not a bad pick.
Because I think that's where he was.
There's somebody else that's better, though.
Who did I miss?
Antoine Winfield.
Yeah.
He's the best safety in the league.
That's probably fair.
He's so good. He's so good.
I mean, he's going to get injured, though, so it doesn't matter. So my prediction
I do like the Julian Love pick, though.
And I kind of want to go with someone different. I know Winfield, yes, he is by far the best wide receiver.
Julian Love's a cool pick.
But I think just Julian Love.
Because he did have a very good second half.
But Antoine Winfield wasn't even a Pro Bowler last year?
Dude, I don't know, but he's so good. Doesn't matter.
I'm
telling you, he's nasty. And then I also did pick Budda Baker because he's not like your prototypical safety. He's kind of like a little bit of a linebacker. But he's very talented.
I agree with you on Winfield, but I feel like he wasn't a Pro Bowler last year. But I could be totally wrong.
All I know is he's been like the best safety for the past 3 years.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I'm with you. He was
especially when they were going to the Super Bowl those couple of years.
He had to have been, because he was the 6th in ranking for Defensive Player of the Year. He was not a Pro Bowler in 2022 is probably what I'm thinking about. But I don't think he was one I don't know if he was one last year. But anyway, I agree with you. I think he's got.
He was named an alternate, if I'm reading that correctly.
I think that's where he was. He was 7th he was the best safety, and he was 7th in AP Defensive Player of the Year voting. Yeah. He was not in a lot of the other stuff. I agree. Why was he not a Pro Bowler last year? So he was an alternate. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't. I mean, I think he probably is, but I have a feeling that it's just not going to be him. I think that there's just going to be some other people. I think Budda. Also, shout out Bellevue. Well, actually, Bellevue. Bellevue played us in high school, and they recruited Budda Baker, and I got ran over by him in high school. Anyway, he's like Mr. Consistent. You just know what you're going to get from him. You're going to get the same stuff. He's a big hitter. He can read the game so well, blah, 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 blah. Winfield, I think, is more like a not a risk, but he's going to be good. But it's just like he's going to miss some things, I feel. Not like it's a bad thing. Like, I mean, I know Budda's going to miss stuff, but I feel like Budda's going to miss less. Budda's not going to have all the picks and all the flashy stuff, but he's just going to make sure. He's kind of like Earl Thomas, where he's not like the flashiest guy, not the but he's going to make sure he's there, and he's there. I think Julian Love, just last year he was a Pro Bowler. I think he might have been a replacement, but he was a Pro Bowler, and he only played like
10. I think he definitely played. I think he played most games. He started like 10 games though.
Yeah, I believe that. So, and then they got rid of the safety, so now he gets a full ride.
He'll actually start. So last year,
and I think keep going down.
Trying to see the game started.
And I think that he still.
He started 12. That's surprising. Yeah, I thought he started less for some reason.
So I just think when he gets hopefully 17 games for them, he's going to be a big asset for him. Anyway. Moving into that's kind of it for the Pro Bowlers. We can, I mean, if you want to do like kickers and stuff, we can throw kickers in.
Matty Ice is no longer going to be a Pro Bowler.
Well, yeah, he's not.
He's not in the league anymore.
Yeah, he's an announcer.
Yeah,
same with Tom Brady, and same with Tony Romo and
no RG3 though.
No RG. He's not doing ESPN.
No, he got fired.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
he was.
The only thing I've seen is the croissant picture, and then I was like, that's tough. So
that's really sad. He wasn't very good. It's hard because I feel like, I don't know, Matty Ice, I personally think is one of the most underrated quarterbacks we've seen in a long time. He obviously played in an era where I think you're never going to see quarterbacks like that again with the Peyton Mannings, Tom Brady's, Brett Favre's, Drew Brees, Aaron Rodgers, who's still playing, Ben Roethlisberger, Tony Romo, Phillip Rivers. Like, these are all like Hall of Famers.
Wilson was in
100%, but I'm like talking about legitimate, Ben Roethlisberger, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, like Brett Favre, who I think is already in the Hall of Fame.
He should be.
I'm probably missing. Kurt Warner was still kind of in that era. I'm probably missing Tony Romo. I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he's going to be on that kind of borderline. I'm probably missing other quarterbacks. And now it just feels like you have like a top like 3 of like Mahomes,
Jackson,
and probably like Josh Allen. Honestly, you're probably
surprised he even said that.
Yeah, but he's probably considered your top 3. I mean, I don't know who else is in. Like, Tua's not, Trevor Lawrence is not, CJ's probably the closest.
Joe Burrow. If he comes back this year, Burrow's in the conversation.
Be. Yeah, but it just doesn't feel like you have. I mean, like back, like when we were growing up,
it was a quarterback league.
That decade was literally like, oh, you're gonna take Tom Brady with your first round pick. Oh, bummer. Like, okay, I'll have to get stuck with Phillip Rivers, who's gonna be the most highest completed. You're just like, oh no, like that's fine. Matt Ryan is in that conversation. He's obviously an MVP. He's close to the top. I think he's in the top 10 for yards of all time. He went to the Super Bowl.
You did lose that 28-3 lead, though. That kind of just really
that's not.
sucked.
I don't feel like that's him as much as it's obviously the defense. But it's also, yes, you give credit to Tom Brady and the Patriots for doing that. But yes, I think that Super Bowl showed you how good the Patriots were. Like, Bill Belichick went in halftime, was like,
figure it out.
Do you guys want to win, or do you want to go home as a blowout? Like, you want to be Peyton Manning against the Seahawks, or do you guys actually want to come back and win? So I think that's interesting. But yes, he is retired officially. Which isn't shocking. He's 38 or something like that. He's older guy. He was such a Boston College legend too. He was so fun to watch there.
Thanks for watching the Kind of Athletic podcast. Please make sure to like and subscribe on all of our social medias, and we will see you next week.